Hello and welcome back to another video of NXT Out of 10 right here on the Wrestle Debate. We've got a lot of action-packed show today. We've got a triple threat match to determine who the number one contender will be in your house, and we've got Legado del Fantasma taking on MSK for the tag team titles. Let's get straight into it. We start off with Dunn versus Gargano versus O'Reilly in the triple threat. They laid into each other with knees, kicks and elbows, hoping to get a quick knockout shoot. As Johnny Gargano was first sent to fall, Pete Dunne targeted Kyle O'Reilly's left arm and fingers. Dunn was caught in a surprise cross arm breaker, only for Gargano to break it up. O'Reilly was then trapped in a heel hook and arm breaker, but was able to escape both. Gargano finally tossed O'Reilly to the floor before focusing on the bruiserweight of NXT. As Dunn escaped through the ropes, he let O'Reilly and Gargano wear each other down until the time was right. When O'Reilly set up for a submission, both he and Gargano were trapped by Dunn, snapping and stomping the fingers of both men. They all traded a series of running elbows before O'Reilly slowed things down with a double dragon screw. Dunn countered the ankle lock with one of his own. O'Reilly escaped and sent Dunn to the floor where the first ever NXT Triple Crown champion laid him out. Gargano hit the Tornado DDT, catching Dunn with a kick to the head move. The action was consistent. O'Reilly fired up his competition with a series of kicks and knees before Johnny Wrestling tried to fight back, but O'Reilly was still in control. Gargano eventually caught O'Reilly with a patented slingshot spear, but couldn't pick up the win. As they jockeyed for position, they were taken out by the forgotten Dunn, who dropped Gargano with an X-Plex for a near fall. Dunn then stomped on O'Reilly's heel hook on Gargano and set up for the bitter end before Gargano countered with one final beat before launching him into a lawn dart into O'Reilly. Unfortunately, he couldn't put Dunn down for good. Soon all three men were back on their feet, trading stiff shots. O'Reilly fell to the ropes before rebounding with a double clthesline. O'Reilly locked in a guillotine on Gargano, but he was caught with a sleeper. O'Reilly then lost his grip and was sent to the floor when Gargano took Dunn to the mat with the Gargano escape. Dunn then hit it, but then got out and hit a move before Adam Cole ran in, and he just destroyed everyone with a last shot. William Regal and some NXT officials came out to escort Cole out. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. This was just a brilliant match, but I was kind of disappointed we just didn't get a finish, to be honest. Up on NXT, William Regal was forced to remove Adam Cole. Just as we saw the end of that, Ember Moon rushed the ring, holding her hostage, the NXT Women's title, flipping chaos this show. Regal tried to stop it before Gonzalez ran past him and moved on to her. They then got some revenge, rocking Gonzalez with a series of kicks and sending her out the ring. Though Regal thought he had the situation under control, Kai came out and took out Moon. LA Knight then was out next and claimed that he'd drop his opponent on the head. And we got LA Knight versus Jake Atlas. Atlas took him to school in the early moments of this match. After taking him to the mat, Atlas worked over the arm of LA Knight. A stiff boot stunned Knight, but he still finally turned it around with a stun gun. A leaping neckbreaker brought Atlas down as the $1 Million Man came out to the ramp. The WWE Hall of Famer watched on for a while before Knight almost lost the match. Knight kicked out with a planted his opponent with a power slam. A slingshot shoulder tackle connected as NXT cuts the break. Any time for Atlas to build stream was good. Knight took a shortcut to halt the momentum, however, and Jake was nearly cast out. However, Atlas shocked Knight with a hellacious discus lariat and a pump kick. A suplex dropped Knight for a 2 count, while NXT's richest superstar Cameron Grimes made his way out with DiBiase. Atlas planted Knight with a rolling Death Valley driver and a standing moonsault. Knight caught off a dive to the top rope, but distraction from Grimes allowed Atlas to catch him on the ropes. The cartwheel DDT spiked Knight for the 3 count, and after the match, Ted DiBiase shook his hand at LA Knight before abandoning him. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. This was a really, really good match. Adam Cole was out next and starts off reminding us he was NXT champion 2 years ago on this day, and said that he'd be gone for 2 months and that in that time nobody had been able to live up to this legacy. He just took out 3 of NXT's top stars in just one night. It was time for Cole to get his championship back. Cole then spoke to Cross, claiming he was overused muscle head and it didn't deserve his time in the ring. It wasn't a mistake that he held over goal for over 400 days. Karrion Kross and Scarlett saw him in the ring before he could finish. Cross started out by calling Cole a little man before starting when he signed here. Everything that made Adam special flew out of the window. Cole called Cross overrated once again, claiming the NXT had done whatever they could to make him special. We'll see that when the bell rings, he said. Then said Cross couldn't hang with him, and it's not just his level. Cole is special, and Cross is average. Before William Regal could put an end to all of this, Karrion Kross made a special challenge and said that he'd take on the 5 men. He'd take on 4 men at In Your House, and yeah, I just can't wait for that match. It was a bloody good promo by Adam Cole too. We then got a vignette of Carmelo Hayes ahead of his NXT debut tonight, and Hayes said he'd become the next Cruiserweight champion. It was then confirmed that we were getting Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez at TakeOver In Your House. Not sure it's a takeover quality match, but we'll see. I'm willing to give it a chance. Before we got Kushida versus Carmelo Hayes. Hayes locks up with the NXT Cruiserweight champion with a sunset flip early on for a 1 count. He took the champ down with a series of arm drags and a standing dropkick. Kushida was able to even things up with a handspring back elbow to the face. Hayes caught Kushida with an elevated springboard leg drop for a near fall as we cut to the break. When we came back, Kushida missed a dive off the top. Hayes hit a super kick and stunned him with a fireman's carry spin out facebuster. A springboard clothesline earned Hayes a 2 count before Kushida got another close call. The Japanese star escaped another onslaught, hitting a toss kick combination. Kushida went for the hoverboard lock, but he couldn't lock it in. Carmelo then looked for another springboard clothesline, only to be rocked by Kushida's right hand, and he eventually got the hoverboard lock cinched in. And after the match, they shook hands. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. This was a really, really impressive debut for Carmelo Hayes. Okay, then cut a promo on Legado del Fantasma. Nash, Carter and Wesley prepared to defend the titles later on and said they'd still come out with the gold. Before we got Zoe Stark and Zayda Ramia versus The Way. The match, Kate started off with The Way dominated things, but was nearly caught in a schoolboy before LeRae ran over Ramia and tagged out to Indy Hartwell, who immediately lost control when she missed an elbow drop. Candice cut Ramia off from her partner and sent Stark to the floor. Ramia dazed LeRae with a strike and finally got to Stark, who went to work on the champions. The spinning back kick nearly knocked the Poison Pixie out cold. Stark slammed Ramia on top for a near fall, with LeRae just being saved by Hartwell. After sending Stark to the floor, LeRae hit the Wicked Stepsister on Ramia, and Hartwell finished it with a pretty savage for the win. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. A decent enough match, and of course it's the right result to have the champions winning, but the babyfaces did look kind of strong. We then got another Diamond Mine vignette, but there's still no date for the debut. Before Moon challenged Kota Kai for a match at TakeOver In Your House and said she'd become Raquel Gonzalez's next challenger. Before we got Legado del Fantasma versus MSK in the main event. Wesley and Joaquin Wilde kicked off the match. Lee and Wilde were evenly matched in the early games, but Wilde managed to avoid some tag team offense, slipping out of Nash Carter's flying Bronco Buster. Legado del Fantasma took over, stumping in the corner. Raul Mendoza sported a mask to protect his broken nose, and Joaquin Wilde turns Carter apart. After several minutes, he finally got Lee leading to a 4-man brawl where all the men laid out another with high impact strikes. The GYV then looked to get involved when they were attacked by Tommaso Ciampa and Thatcher. Wesley and Joaquin Wilde reset, trading the upper hand during the commercial break. He couldn't keep Wilde from getting to his partner though, and Mendoza was able to turn things around for Legado del Fantasma. They then slammed Lee with a double spine buster before splitting the wishbone, following with the stereo basement. Lee kicked out, infuriating Wilde. A spinning back elbow caught Wes in the mouth and allowed Legado to pick up steam. A springboard splash and springboard moonsault allowed another 2 count before Lee finally broke away from Mendoza when he countered the powerbomb with a DDT. Wilde and Carter were once again the legal man, and Nash lit up the challenger and a hot fire flame connected, but Wilde kicked out. Lee avoided an attack in the corner, only to be rocked by a hellacious springboard drop kick from Mendoza. A brainbuster spiked Lee, giving Mendoza the 2 count after splitting the NXT Tag Team Champions up and sending Carter to the floor. They sent Lee to the corner. The top rope Rana into a powerbomb only earned a 2 count before Mendoza tossed Lee to the floor and distracted the ref, allowing Santos Escobar to hit a distraction. Legado hit their finisher, but it wasn't enough. Bronson Reed came out and surprised Escobar, and MSK hit their spinebuster block by us to finish to get the win. 8 out of 10. This was just an absolutely magic match, really putting over Legado del Fantasma in the end, the right result too, and setting up a new feud between Reed and Escobar. Overall this week, NXT gets a 7 out of 10 from me. On the whole, it was a really, really good episode of NXT. It was, last week's episode was a bit divisive, but for me, that was all undone by this week's episode of NXT. Back to where it's been over the last few weeks. A really, really entertaining show, setting up new feuds and storylines. Just a very, very good television show. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, comments down below, and follow me on Twitter. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news. And subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.